Imagine a time long before the pyramids, at the dawn of civilization. On a lonely hilltop in what is now Turkey, people gathered to carve massive stones with only flint tools. They were building something monumental, the world's first temple. This place is called Göbekli Tepe, Potbelly Hill. Its discovery has upended everything we thought we knew about our origins. For years we believed civilization began with farming, then villages, then cities, and only then, religion and art. But Göbekli Tepe flips that story. What if the urge to build something sacred was the spark that ignited civilization? The site is a series of massive stone circles, with T-shaped pillars covered in mysterious animal carvings. Built 12,000 years ago, thousands of years before Stonehenge or the pyramids, by people we thought were simple hunter-gatherers. These were not homes or palaces, but a place of ritual and belief. The real mystery isn't just its age, but why these people, struggling to survive, poured so much effort into this colossal project. And after centuries of use, why did they carefully bury their temple, hiding it for millennia? The stones of Göbekli Tepe speak to us across an immense ocean of time. They challenge us to rethink the very roots of our civilization. To understand Göbekli Tepe, we must travel back 12,000 years, to the end of the last ice age. The world was wild and empty, with forests spreading and grasslands teeming with animals. There were no cities, no writing, no wheels, just small, nomadic bands of hunter-gatherers. These people were intelligent, creative, and deeply attuned to nature. They moved constantly, following herds and gathering wild plants. Archaeologists long believed such groups were too focused on survival to build anything monumental. The old model said farming came first, then villages, then temples. But Göbekli Tepe shatters that idea. The builders were not farmers, they hunted wild animals and gathered wild grains. There's no evidence of domesticated plants or animals at the time, yet somehow these hunter-gatherers came together, planned and built on a massive scale. They cooperated, organized, and worked for years, maybe decades, to create a sacred place. This suggests the human need for meaning and community was a powerful force, perhaps even more powerful than hunger. Göbekli Tepe shows us that the drive to gather and believe may have come before the drive to farm. It's a radical idea, that spirituality, not agriculture, was the foundation of civilization. The stones stand as proof that our ancestors were far more complex than we ever imagined, and their story is only just beginning to be told. For centuries, Göbekli Tepe was just another hill. Farmers plowed its slopes, moving aside strange limestone blocks, unaware of their true significance. In the 1960s, archaeologists surveyed the area but dismissed it as a medieval cemetery. The secret slept on, until 1994. A Kurdish shepherd, Shavak Yildiz, noticed several large T-shaped stones poking from the ground. He sensed they were special, and reported them to the local museum. The museum contacted the German Archaeological Institute, and soon, archaeologist Klaus Schmidt arrived. Schmidt instantly recognized the tops of the pillars as something ancient and extraordinary. He realized the hill was an artificial mound, built up over thousands of years. The stones the farmers had been moving were parts of a monumental prehistoric structure. Schmidt knew he had found the discovery of a lifetime. Excavations began, and the world's oldest temple slowly emerged from the earth. What had been hidden for millennia was finally revealed, and our understanding of history would never be the same. Building Göbekli Tepe was a feat of unimaginable effort. No metal tools, no wheels, no beasts of burden, just flint, stone, and human hands. The massive limestone pillars, some weighing over 10 tons, were quarried nearby and hauled to the site. Hundreds of people must have worked together, using levers, rollers, and ropes. The pillars were set in deep sockets, arranged in circles, with two larger pillars at each center, possibly representing powerful spirits or ancestors. This was not the work of a single village, but a collaboration among many groups. The site was built, used, and rebuilt over more than 1,000 years. Older enclosures were deliberately buried, and new ones constructed atop them. Göbekli Tepe was a living, evolving, sacred landscape. Its scale and longevity reveal a level of social organization we never thought possible for hunter-gatherers. Göbekli Tepe was more than a construction site. It was a gathering place. Clans from across the region traveled for days to reach this sacred hill. For people used to small mobile groups, seeing hundreds gathered together was extraordinary. Here, they met, traded, found partners, and shared stories. But above all, they participated in powerful rituals. The enclosures with their looming pillars and animal carvings created a dramatic setting for ceremonies. Archaeologists have found evidence of massive feasts, tens of thousands of animal bones and stone basins that may have held early beer. These communal feasts bonded the community and rewarded the builders. Feeding so many people required organized hunting on a huge scale. The demands of the temple may have pushed people to experiment with domesticating animals and cultivating crops. In a sense, the temple came first, and the need to support it may have sparked the birth of agriculture. Göbekli Tepe was the heart of a new way of life. After more than 1,000 years, the people of Göbekli Tepe did something astonishing. They buried their temple. This was no act of destruction, but a careful, deliberate process. The enclosures were filled with earth, stone, and animal bones, the pillars hidden from view. Why? There's no sign of invasion or disaster. Perhaps their beliefs changed, or the rituals lost meaning for a new generation. Maybe burying the site was a way to respectfully close a chapter as people settled into villages and began to farm. The burial itself was a monumental task, involving millions of limestone fragments and countless animal bones. It was accompanied by more feasting and ritual, a long, slow farewell. By hiding their creation, these ancient people preserved it perfectly for us to find. The act of burial turned Göbekli Tepe into a time capsule. It's a final mystery, a sacred place, entombed by those who once revered it. Their goodbye became our discovery. And the story of Göbekli Tepe lives on. The pillars of Göbekli Tepe are a library of lost stories. Their carvings, snakes, foxes, bulls, cranes, are vivid, full of life and meaning. Some scenes, like the vulture stone, hint at death rituals and beliefs about the afterlife. The T-shaped pillars themselves are stylized human forms, with carved arms and hands but no faces, perhaps representing ancestors, spirits, or the community itself. The anonymity makes them universal, inviting anyone to see themselves in these silent giants. Archaeologists have found small figurines, beads, and decorated bowls, showing that art and symbolism were woven into daily life. Flint tools and debris reveal the site was a hive of activity, not just for ceremonies, but for living and working. Göbekli Tepe was alive with sound, movement, and the smells of feasts and fires. It was a vibrant center of a lost world. The art and artifacts remind us that these people were not primitive. They were creative, spiritual, and deeply human. Their mysteries endure, carved in stone, and their legacy still shapes us today. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe is a revolution in our understanding of history. It forces us to rethink the timeline. Maybe it was temples, not farms, that built the first cities. Hunter-gatherers, once thought simple, were capable of astonishing feats of organization and creativity. The urge to gather, to build, to believe, these may have been the true sparks of civilization. The challenge of feeding the builders may have driven the invention of agriculture. In this new story, the temple comes first and the city follows. Göbekli Tepe connects us to our ancestors in a deeply human way. When we look at the carvings, we see the world through their eyes. Only a fraction of the site has been excavated. Many more secrets lie buried. What new stories will emerge as we dig deeper? Göbekli Tepe reminds us that history is not a closed book, but a living story. Our ancestors were more creative and complex than we ever imagined. Their stones still speak, inviting us to wonder and to listen.